own problem. That's empowerment. One session of Dianetics blew 10 years of grief. Wherever truth is, that's where you belong. People don't care about how much you know. They want to know how much you care.
If you really understand someone, you don't need to be fighting.
Welcome to another episode of the Don't Do Nothing podcast. Today we have a pretty awesome guest. Our guest today is Sister Naira. She is a transformational life coach. She runs a women's community called Heal on Purpose. She is, like, the list goes on pretty long, so bear with me for a second. She's a TEDx speaker. She was trained by Les Brown on being a public speaker. She does public speaking all the time. She also is a mother, a wife. She is
5 children, brother.
a mother of 5 children, all grown, out of the house.
Out of the house.
So you're also an empty nester.
For sure. Let's say that.
She's also the founder of Repair of the Black Family, which is your foundation.
Yes.
And she is also a student in, I'm going to say this wrong, student in the ministry of the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm so super excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're super excited for you to be here.
Thank you.
I think Aaron had the first question.
Yeah,
He's like bursting with
like-
questions as
like-
we're sitting down today.
So I've met a lot of people in the Nation of Islam.
Mhm.
They're all so put together,
Mhm.
so well-mannered, incredible, setting an example of what it means to be a human being.
Mhm.
And
Wow, that's true.
I'm curious, how did you get on that path? How did you start in the Nation? How did you learn about it? How did you join, become part of the the elite group, which is the MGT for females? For the males, it's an FOI. And so, like, how does that journey start?
Well, I have a journey with my stepdad. So my mom actually remarried, and her husband was a Muslim. And so, of course, growing up in a Christian background, Christian faith, and she gets married, and so he was like, this is how I got in. He would always pray differently. He ate differently. His language was different from ours, and he never pushed it on us. My mom never encouraged us to do it, but I was very inquisitive, right? So I would ask questions.
Wow.
And especially during prayer, because every New Year's, my mom would have us on our knees. We would be praying, in the Christian, we do on the Christian faith. And he would be standing up and he would be doing like this. I'm like, praying like that. Looking weird, right? And then when he took away the pork chops and the bacon, I was like, okay. What's really going on? So nevertheless, over time, I asked questions, and he never taught me from the Quran or the Bible. He would just go through regular books, and he would show, the relevancy of just life in general. And slowly but surely, he was introducing to us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so that happened for a lot of years. And then one day, a period of time, I was going through a divorce, and I was pregnant. And it was very traumatic for me. I was very young, and I withdrew from the family because of the trauma that I was experiencing. And my mother was really trying to get me in communication with her, the family, and these things simply because I was pregnant. And I got counseled by a minister in the Nation of Islam named Brother James. And I was just like crying and really just didn't want to talk. And he said this, he said, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that whatever is happening with the mother is actually going down into the baby. So we should allow her to just have her space. In that moment, as a person that really didn't know a lot about the Nation, wasn't really going to join the Nation, it resonated. And it actually saved me from the trauma that I was going through, and actually what I learned in that moment my child was going through. And I got up and I went in the bathroom and I prayed and asked God to save me and my baby. And that was, I would say, is when I accepted the teachings. But there's a process that you have to go through to actually join. That didn't happen until a few years later. But it was that moment, it was that word that I can say that's how my journey really began for myself. And then throughout time, maybe a few years later, I actually joined the Nation of Islam, and that began my journey. Within 2 months, I was put in a leadership position because I'm just awesome.
Can confirm.
Wow.
Right. So and just being my natural self. And yeah, so they put me in a leadership position over the women's class. I pretty much was self-taught in the beginning because there wasn't a lot of like training, like official. Back then, it was
mhm.
like a lot of just hands-on training. And because I loved the people and I loved the message, like the message was very transforming, right?
Mm,
I mean, just think about it. Here is, I was at that time maybe about 25.
mhm,
I lived a pretty like, rough life,
Yeah.
out in the streets, not in the streets like industries, but I had my things, right?
mhm.
And just being young, I was a mother of at that time 3,
Mhm.
and somebody is gonna teach me how to cook, how to clean, you know, husband, and like that was so far away from my mind. I'm like, period, no. However, going into the nation, it was just a transforming process. Just understanding my value as a woman because a lot of emphasis was placed on that.
Mm.
So from there, that's what, really
Oh,
transformed.
that's so beautiful.
Mhm.
Gosh, I have so many questions already. Okay,
Yeah.
so first, I just want to comment on the teachings, which included to protect the mother, because the
Mhm.
mother and the baby have this connection that will those days will affect the child. And I mean, I'm not part of the nation,
Mhm.
but in Dianetics, that is a
Yeah.
that is a huge
Absolutely.
that is a
1000%.
huge topic in there.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
it coincides very closely.
Mhm.
And I just find that incredible how
Mhm.
how that I mean,
Yeah.
that was like, what? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So I guess there's I just want to comment, and we have to get into that. But like, what is this process of joining? You said like there's a process of joining.
Mhm.
Like you drop that and then like skip over it. I'm like, what happened there?
Yeah. So basically, you have to go through like an orientation class, and you have to write what we call a savior's letter to be accepted into the
Mm.
ranks. And once that happens, if it's accepted, then you go through another process, and then basically you're accepted, and then that's it.
And the Savior's letter is what, like what is that?
I will liken that to how in the Orthodox religion it's like your shahada. It's like you accept that you want the teachings,
Mm,
right? You accept that you're gonna live your life.
Yeah,
a
and you're
particular-
saying Orthodox
Mhm.
Islam.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
you bear witness that there is no God but Allah,
mm,
and Muhammad is his messenger.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So that's a form of acceptance,
Yeah.
right? So in the Nation of Islam, you are accepting that Allah came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. You are accepting and you're reclaiming, actually, that's the word. You're reclaiming your own. You're reclaiming righteousness. You're reclaiming to learn the principles of just becoming a God.
mm.
Mhm.
Got it.
In
It's
every
really-
sense of the word.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bringing life into this world.
Basically.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed when we had Reverend Alfredi Johnson
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
is just one thing that I've noticed is people who are is Rev a part of the Nation of Islam? Or no, he's not. He's close.
He's a friend, I would
Like
say,
an
right?
honorary member.
Fine, makes
Mhm.
sense. But he's like there's just a certain way that I've noticed that people who are very close or part of the Nation of Islam speak, and it's very I like it. It's very it's almost like in the world in general, people are always making themselves wrong. There's a lot of self-invalidation out in the world. And I don't see any of that in people who are close to or a part of the Nation of Islam. That's something that I also see that I like from other Scientologists is the self-invalidation is like, hey, you leave that at the door. Like we don't do that here. Can you speak to like what that was like for you in terms of that change?
Mhm. Yes. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, accept your own and be yourself.
Yeah.
What is your own self? A righteous Muslim. Now that's something you grow into.
Mm-hmm.
To accept your own, accept who you are, be yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So there it is. At that point, once you accept that, now you start to transform into that. You begin to understand that you are not of this world. You may be in the world, but you're not of it, right?
Mhm.
And that's a Christian biblical term that I actually got an opportunity to put into practice. So yes, that's when the self-invalidation starts to leave, because now it's a retraining, reprogramming of the mind,
Yeah.
right? And so, and it's so many more, right? But just accepting that I have worth, I have a value, I have a place in this world, I have a place in my home, right? I have a place with my children, I have a place with you,
Yeah.
with man and mankind, right? So I have a place, and it's not in the back seat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, absolutely.
That's
That's
amazing.
brilliant. And so, and after you get started, and after that, like the teachings, like I'm just very curious.
Mhm.
Do you guys, learning all these things that you say, you do the student ministry, and you're learning different things. How much does that involve the Quran? How much does that involve, like, where do the other teachings come from if it's not directly based in that scripture? Like, how is it? I just
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no, it's totally fine. So yes, every day is a daily practice of reading the Holy Quran, studying from the Holy Quran, reciting the Holy Quran, talking about the Holy Quran, and all of the other books that was given to us by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? Which everything comes from our founder, Master Farad Muhammad. So there's books. It's like a lot of different books. Message to the Black Man in America, Our Savior Has Arrived. It's just Torchlight for America, Fall of America. So it's so much. Final Call, but it's always a discipline to study. Like, you study every single day. We have meetings 5 times a week. So the men have a training class on Mondays. The women have a training class on Saturdays. Then you have your Sunday class, then you have your Wednesday class, and you have your Friday class, self-improvement. So yeah, you always, it's like being on course.
Yeah.
You going in every day, almost, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how it comes. Mhm.
And is that part of, like, you choose to go sometimes? You go always? Like, how?
I
I
mean,
mean, like, because here, if
yeah.
you're on a course, you might finish a course, you might be off a little bit, come back. Like,
Yeah.
is it kind of similar in a way where you choose some studies, or you're there?
Well, it's set up,
Period.
right? So it's set up because, remember, we are retraining ourselves, right? We coming out of this world into a world of righteousness. So what you put in is what you get out,
That's right.
right? So you put yourself in the meetings, you're gonna get more of yourself. So it's prescribed to go to those 5 meetings. But if you don't go to the 5 meetings, there's no penalty,
Right.
from the nation, might be a penalty on yourself, because you
Penalty
start,
from yourself.
yeah, right. You start going out and doing other things, right? If you don't have, something else to do, like I have something else that I do. I'm in the church, right? So it's not like I'm just out here doing anything. If I miss a meeting, I may be on course, or I may be in session, or whatever, but it's a balance. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody don't have something else to do. So if they
That's
miss,
right.
and they may be doing something else.
Well, and their other activities are,
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of other activities.
it's a lot of
that
other
are not
activities.
productive.
Exactly.
Like almost endless.
Exactly. So ideally, you want to keep yourself engaged in a process that you want to become.
Yeah.
And now you teach transformation in various ways. What was the biggest transformation, or just a big transformation, that you had when you went in, you started learning the teachings, you started, involving yourself more deeply? What changes did you see in yourself?
For me, I wanted it to become a woman of God. I grew up in the church, so I wasn't estranged to God. However, to walk with Him and have my ethics in was a totally new concept, because going to church, you just listen to the pastor.
Yeah.
And whatever the pastor say, okay, that was a good message. On Sundays, but Saturday night, hey, I just came out the club, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not down in the church, because I had a great experience. My family is of the church, but it didn't have enough structure for me as a
Mhm.
being, right?
Mhm.
So coming into
I had the same experience.
you had
by
the
the
same,
way.
okay,
It's
good.
Exactly the same
So,
experience. I was like, is there more that I can do?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
had the word, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the discipline to be a
Mhm.
disciple. So for me, joining the nation gave me structure. It
Mhm.
gave me discipline, self-imposed discipline, right? It gave me community where, you have a whole bunch of people trying to do the same thing to bring in a new world. That was the difference. The
Mhm.
language was different.
Mhm.
So my language evolved to building a new civilization, a new world, a kingdom right here on earth that, is tangible. You don't have to wait until you die.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
started living my life in the now and not waiting till I go some other place
Mhm.
to have life and life more abundantly.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my biggest transformation. And to be honest, to be loyal to my husband.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
change. That's a big
Yeah,
change.
that's
That
great.
was, prior to. So, so to be a mom, really like making my home my base.
Yeah.
It's not
Mhm.
necessarily my place, but it's my base. To honor that, to say, hey, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, want to take care of my house, want to take care of my children, and still go out in the world and be this phenomenal woman.
Mhm.
But I'm not just a phenomenal woman of the world. I'm a phenomenal woman that's building a new civilization.
Mhm.
Mm. What are so I there's what are like the goals of the Nation of Islam in terms of like a new civilization, like the kingdom on earth that the nation is aiming to build and that you're contributing to?
Mhm. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says a strong family is the foundation for a great nation.
Yeah.
So to bring the family unit back together,
Mhm.
to have the structure, in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, there's a structure.
Mhm.
Most people don't know that, or maybe they don't honor it or whatever. So you have God, man, woman, children, right? Let's bring the household back in order because everything starts at home and then spread abroad. So if we can perfect the household, then we can go and build communities and countries and those things. So the goal is to get the man to stand back up and get the woman to stand up and bring that family unit back together and give these three basic principles: knowledge of self,
Mhm.
knowledge of God, and the knowledge of others.
Mm.
Wow. That's great. As you're talking, there's like so many. I want to keep going on your story because
Mhm.
it's so good. But there's so many parallels between
Yes,
what
similar.
the nation
Absolutely.
what the what the Nation of Islam is about and what Scientology is about. I'm like, this is like
Absolutely.
it's eerily similar,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So I'm just like everything you're saying. I'm like, okay, like literally like three universes.
Mhm.
There's the physical universe,
Mhm.
your universe, and the other guy's universe.
Absolutely.
That's not a
Yes,
quote from Al
Scientology
Hubbard, but that's a
concept.
Scientology concept.
Mhm.
That's almost exactly what you just said.
Absolutely.
I'm like,
Absolutely. And that's why I love
what?
the teachings and the technology. Minister Farrakhan actually said the supreme wisdom, which is a technology of the nation, and the supreme technology, the same supreme wisdom and the supreme technology, that he was going to marry the two together,
Oh wow.
right? The Nation of Islam and the Church of Scientology together,
Yeah.
right? So we're allies of one another.
Yeah.
And as a student follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and studying the technology of L. Ron Hubbard, Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, I find the parallels, and it doesn't take anything away from who I am. That's why I love Scientology, because it's helping me to apply my religion. It's helping me to become a better Muslim. It's helping me to become a better mother, friend, a wife, and all the other things that I do, because it breaks everything down in simplicity for me and others, right? So we can have this whole body of knowledge, and we do in the Nation of Islam. We're just perfecting it because now we're learning more in simplicity with the technology of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard of how to apply it and make the word flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I find so interesting, right, is you've probably done a few courses in Scientology on how to study. Yes.
Absolutely.
Good. Just to make sure we all know, because that is like, and just to be clear, so the guys who don't know here,
Mhm.
this is not on how to study Scientology. Correct.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
This is to study anything.
Study anything.
So how has your understanding been of the teachings of,
That's a great question.
the Quran and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and Fard Muhammad, right? Fard
Yeah.
Elijah? Okay.
Master Farah Muhammad and
Minister Fard
Mhm.
Muhammad.
Mhm.
How has it changed now that you can understand the words, do the learnings and go into a different level? How has the change been for you?
That's exciting. Okay, because you see the words that's about to come out.
Yeah.
Well, the minister calls us students,
Mm-hmm.
and it was me studying the student hat
Mm-hmm.
that actually
Wow.
helped me to understand how to be a student.
Oh my
Mm.
god.
Okay, so now I do not read the
Mhm.
Quran. I don't read nothing without thoroughly clearing my words
Mm-hmm.
and not going past a word that I don't understand or miss, or maybe I want to know a little bit more of this concept or the context of which I'm reading. So studying Mr. Hubbard's student hat and learning how to learn and all of those things has helped me to become a better student on how to learn and apply my religion
Mhm.
and not just recite from memory. Because we do a lot of recitals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously there's things that you should know from memory. Like there's things which are useful to be like, okay, what boom, like
Mhm.
things to remember, but getting really the actual like understanding and being able to apply.
Mhm.
That was one thing that for me, I was recently doing a course
Mhm.
and I realized basically that I need to actually clear up the word student. Yeah. Yeah, like I actually
Preach.
looked up all the definitions of the word student and went through them and made sentences and did all the things. And then I think I was looking at the origin of the word student, and it
Oh.
was like for some reason it was like the application piece
Mhm.
really hit me of like someone who learns and then applies, creates an effect. And I realized that I had been sitting here. I've done several Scientology courses, like a lot. I spent a lot of time in the course room.
Mhm.
And the whole time I'd been sitting on disagreeing with the idea that I was even a student, because I had thought previously to that it was just somebody who collects information and then sits
Mhm.
like with doing nothing with it,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I got
and then
it.
when I got like the application, I was like, oh my gosh, wow,
Mhm.
I actually agree with this.
Agreed.
I love the idea that you guys are all students.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
And that
beautiful.
you call yourself students, because
Yes.
it's unfortunate. There's a statistic. Something like 85% of people that graduate college will have read their last book.
Really?
Mm.
It's insane. The number is there's a crazy number where like you read and they get crammed this stuff in the college,
Mhm.
right? The college, whatever, those institutions. They get this information and they despise it so much and they don't understand it. They don't use it. And they finish and they go, I've studied enough for my life.
Oh,
And that's the
wow.
last time they study.
Oh, wow.
And so they're now a graduate
Yeah.
that doesn't need to study.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's just an incredible teaching, even just by the name,
Yes.
just student minister,
Yes.
student anything, because you're continuing to learn and you're not afraid of looking at information, which is
Right.
incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for me, it keeps me humble,
Mm-hmm.
right? That I can always learn something from anywhere or anybody, including my child,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? So yes, this keeps me humble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how did it start that you got introduced to the technology of Dianetics, Scientology? You're in the nation. You have no idea what that. I guess maybe you don't know what that stuff is, and how does that connect? How did this all happen?
Okay, so here's the journey. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, back in 2010, May, he called all of his laborers, and at that time I was in the executive position of student MGT captain, which means Muslim Girls Training in General Civilization class. He called us all to Chicago, and he rolled out this whole thing about Dianetics. And I mean, that was a whole rollout. So that's like 8 hours of just putting it there of what he needed, what he wanted, what it was. Now there was a group that went before all of us,
Mhm.
and that was like his top executives.
Mhm.
So it was already in the play, maybe months or a year or so before it actually came to the rest of the laborers
Mm.
across the nation. Um, so when he introduced it to us, and he was selective of how many people he wanted to try this.
Mhm.
Now, in the initial selection, I wasn't selected. So it was like other officials. So, however, I think it was like a day or two, he was like, okay, a directive came down that we can go to local class orgs. And so we did. And just to make a long story short, we went through across the country, um, different mosques, different study groups, all of the top officials, the laborers went in and we studied Dianetics. I was of the first 155 laborers to complete.
Mm.
And then there was another
And
graduation.
where did you go there?
Tampa.
Tampa.
No
Okay.
way.
Okay.
Yes,
Really?
yes. And
That's
Minister
where I
Farka,
started.
you did?
That's
Yeah.
where you started
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Oh
true.
my gosh.
And then during that time, this is a pleasure moment for me. The Honorable Mr. Farrakhan said we was the boss because we did so well.
Yeah.
It actually brought him to Tampa. However, within that time period, after the first 155, then there was like
And when you say you
1,500
graduated, what did you graduate?
Dianetics
With
as an
a
auditor.
book of the Hubbard Dianetics auditor course?
Yes.
Okay, so you can
And-
deliver.
Wow.
You're delivering. You're getting
Delivery,
people through
supervisor.
their
Yeah.
painful memories, getting them
Yes,
through, getting them to be
yes.
happy.
Yes. And then so after that, we all got called to Chicago, and we had the largest co-audit, from what I understand,
Mhm.
in the history of co-audits.
Mhm.
Wow.
And yeah. So that was pretty cool. It was
And
like-
so when I've seen some few pictures. If you have more, I'd love to see if we can have them.
Absolutely.
But could you walk me through? So you get called in and you say, hey, well, actually, you can go. Is it you can go or
You
like hey,
can.
Yeah, I
you
thought
can
that
go?
was
It's a
interesting.
choice.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
you can check this out and see what you think. And what when this would happen, what was going through your mind at that time?
Well, let's just say this. If the Honorable Minister Farrakhan asks you to do something, that is an instruction.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's no compulsion, but
Yes.
if the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan
Mm.
asks you to do something,
Mhm.
then you do it,
Mhm.
right? So that's respect for him in our way. So for me, there was no choice.
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
going in. Okay, so I was going in and I went in under obedience.
Mhm.
I didn't know that I was going to handle a 10-year grief ruin
Mm.
that I had.
Wow.
Now, I'm a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
This is my story with Dianetics. My daddy's girl. My daddy dropped his body in 2001.
Mhm.
When I was very young in the nation, like within my first year.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yes. And I'm in leadership. And when we know about Dianetics and what happened when people give you command phrases, a lady walked up to me and she says, "Stop all that crying." She hugged me and she said it in my ear.
Oh.
I was stuck there. So I turned the cry outwardly into a silent cry, not knowing this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so now I'm masking pain for 10 years to the date. Okay.
Wow.
Masking pain. I became physically ill.
Mm-hmm.
I was quote unquote diagnosed with fibromyalgia
Mhm.
back then. And every time my dad's birthday or his transition date would come, I would cry. I would get physically sick for like a couple of weeks, excuse me. And I was just a mess. But
Mm.
nobody knew that because I had a great social veneer. I had a great
Mhm.
mask,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
just looking at me, you wouldn't have known that. But my family knew. And, there were certain things that would happen that I couldn't participate in.
Mhm.
And so here it is.
Because if you participated, it would.
I would be
just- Yeah.
key. I will be right back in the incident,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't recall a memory of my dad without crying in pain.
Wow.
Like nothing. It could be a good memory. I could not
Yeah.
recall. My
Wow.
heart would get heavy, right? So I imagine living with that for 10 years. Imagine that, right?
Mhm.
So here is this man who I love so much. He's asking us to do something for him, but not knowing I'm about to be relieved. Okay.
Mhm.
So I go in
Wow.
And I had my very first session. I cannot make this up. One session of Dianetics blew 10 years of grief
Wow.
for me. How did I measure that? I felt really good, and it was something else connected to that, and that was fine. I didn't know the magnitude of what happened until my dad's birthday came, and I was in the courtroom.
Wow.
I was in the courtroom,
Wow.
and I knew there was a change. There was a
Yeah.
shift. My whole world changed, and I was relieved. And it was like I was in a bubble, and I popped out.
Yeah.
I could see life. I could breathe again. I could love again. I can, I can enjoy the family, because I was honestly like, I didn't know this until I went through many different sessions to be relieved, but I was like mad with God.
Oh,
And I could,
makes
you
total sense.
understand? It's like,
Sure, sure, sure.
why did you take
Mhm.
my death out of everybody on the planet, right?
Yeah.
But who could voice that? How would you really
Mhm.
know that? So this technology helped me to erase and eradicate all of that I can be free and present. And so, oh, wow, I took on Dianetics like, I'm the empress now. I'm like, everybody got to have it.
Yeah.
Everybody has to have Dianetics.
Yeah.
And I just went there, and because I didn't believe that there was help for me.
Wow.
And because
Mhm.
I seen my family members on drugs and pills and all of these things, innately, I didn't want to go that route. I didn't know about the psych industry. I didn't know anything. All I knew is I needed to be present for my children. So I didn't want to be laid up in the bed and taking pills. And trust me, there was enough things prescribed, but I just had this awareness like, no, I'm not going to do that. So
Yeah.
I was always looking for alternative solutions like massage therapy and, all of these things.
Trying
And
to-
I received some relief, but this
Yeah.
took it completely away.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
that's how
So-
I got
On day one.
Oh, day one. And that is what Minister Farrakhan brought me in because of what I was doing with Dianetics. And he said to me, because of your obedience, you found what I found.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And this was like years later, years. I didn't even know I was on his radar, but the work caught his attention.
Wow. So he was looking to see who would really like, boom, take it and do something with
Well,
it.
I don't know what he was looking for.
Yeah,
All I
yeah.
know is I
Yeah,
showed
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so and what does that mean? So did you start doing a lot of auditing? You got people in to become auditors. What is that role? Like you found this thing. You're in this group, you're in this grassroots moment. And what do you do? Like, what is the actions day to day?
Just telling my story.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I was a new person. And this is just from one session now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I have a role in the nation. I'm a
Mhm.
student MGT captain. I feel like I can finally help the women because there was ruins that I didn't have the answers for.
Mhm.
So all I knew how to do was put people in session. Like, okay, you need to get an auditing session.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that was my go-to. And it is still my go-to.
Mhm.
Right. So because we do a lot of ministry, you do a lot of counseling, you do a lot of pastoral work.
Mhm.
We now have the effective solution.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's beyond
right.
talking now. You get the person to solve their own problem. That's empowerment.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, by definition.
Yeah, that's empowerment, right? So I became empowered to empower people. And so that's what it looked like. Just put people in session. And so now I'm doing this as the women,
Mhm.
Ministry. And then it was noticed by other people. This is way before I got to Minister Farrakhan.
Mhm.
It was like, hey, you need to, be the regional auditors coordinator. So now I got two hats. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And both was growing, both was expanding. And all I was doing is just getting a book in the hands of the people, getting them on Dianetics courses, getting them in session.
Mhm.
And it went from the mosque throughout the region. Then it became public because I'm on social media
Yep.
Mhm.
and I'm talking. I'm
Yeah.
just share my wins,
Mhm.
Yeah.
not knowing that I'm creating an effect.
Mhm.
And I became a stable datum
Mhm.
across now, really kind of like across the globe. Like people that know me or don't know me, they inbox and they know, like, if we want to know anything about Dianetics,
Mhm.
Sister Naira.
Yeah.
And then especially during COVID time, I started doing Zoom calls
Mhm.
because prior to COVID, I was being called into the orgs
Mhm.
to do Dianetic seminars. And it started in New York, Harlem.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh, that's
And
so great.
yeah, and I was like, okay, so what am I going to talk to Harlem about?
Mhm.
And that's how Repair the Black Family came.
Mm.
That was literally my next question.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst that started your foundation, which was Repair of the Black Family?
Yeah. So I went to Harlem and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so what am I talking about? Because I was talking about Dianetics, just regular.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, Repair the Black Family. And that was like a hit. And so it wasn't a foundation. It wasn't
Is
anything.
it something you said when you were speaking at Harlem?
I
During
just
your
called the
seminar?
title of the lecture.
Mm.
Oh,
It was just a lecture.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Because
Yep.
I was going to Harlem, which is a Black org.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
Black people was there. So it was a lot of Black people. So I was
Yep.
like, okay, Repair the Black Family. And what do I use to repair the Black family? Dianetics.
Mhm.
And so that's
awesome.
that's how that came about. And then in COVID, everybody's shut in place at home, and I started doing Zoom calls. So from there, it just kind of flourished, and that's how we've been able to help so many people.
That's great. What have you seen in the family? Like when you bring someone in, they're having an issue. What results have you seen when you've introduced somebody, you said, "Hey, try Dianetics," or maybe you either audit them or you get them into a session, or what kind of changes? Give me one example of like a result, an impact that you've had on someone's life.
It's going to go many ways here, but I'm going to start with marriages,
Mm.
saving marriages,
Mhm.
getting people to take more responsibility for their trauma, and the family unit focused in on mental health.
Mhm.
So that has been, I would say, the most impactful when you have a couple that wants to break up.
Mhm.
It's over, it's done with, but neither one of them took responsibility or accountability for what I call baggage
Mhm.
that they never addressed.
Mhm.
And they're just taking it out on each other. So let's get you in a chair. And, it starts there.
Yeah.
Starts with this,
Yeah.
but we evolve, right? And start taking other things. But let's go get in a chair. And that's how that happens. And get them to read the book and do the course so they can have their own realizations
Yeah.
about what's happening. Another thing that we deal with a lot, my husband and I, is people that don't want to be here anymore.
Mm.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't have the
Really?
stats before me, but oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so I understand, people are considering suicide.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And not just elders, young people.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
pressures of this world is crazy,
Mhm.
right? So we handle that.
So can you give a story, an example without a name?
I once had a young girl who was a stripper,
Mhm.
and she got beat up really, really bad in
Mhm.
the club.
Mhm.
And somebody, took all of her money and things, and she didn't want to be here anymore. Like, she got beat like
Mhm.
really bad.
Mhm.
And I got her in session. And from that one session, she came out of the club and she's now RN.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. That's
Well done.
awesome.
That's
Yeah. Hell
amazing.
yeah. That's amazing. That's really good.
And I mean, and it's just countless stories.
Yeah.
Like I can't count them all, but what I know is we have something effective.
Mhm.
We have something where people can get relief and begin to take responsibility and solve their own problems.
Mhm.
And get to the root cause. And that's the thing with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He says you have to go to the root of everything. And so when you're using Dianetics, it takes you down to basic. That's
Yep.
root knowledge
Mhm. Mhm.
of why these things happen.
Yeah.
So again, it's it's effective. My lifestyle is effective because I know that with both, I can make this world a better place. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said we must make our communities a decent and better place to live.
Mm.
Well, what better way to make it decent than helping to create sanity?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
good. This is really inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
my life.
So I want to actually ask a question. You brought a Quran with you, right?
I did.
So I wanted to ask, what is your favorite piece of wisdom from the Quran? If you had to pick one. I'm sure there's a lot, but what's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite,
Okay,
but I
fine.
chose one.
Okay, good,
Okay,
good.
good.
that is befitting to what we do here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start out in the name of Allah. Okay, and we say Bismillah. So it says here in the name of Allah, this is from Surah 94.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's called the expansion.
The expansion.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. So it says, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, have we not expanded for thee thy breast and removed from thee thy burden, which weighed down thy back, and exalted for thee thy mansion? Surely with difficulty is ease, and with difficulty is surely ease. So when thou art free from anxiety, work hard and make thy Lord thy exclusive object.
Mm.
Surely Allah speaks to the truth of
That's-
all things. So he will remove your burdens.
That's pretty appropriate. I'm like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He said the word
Right.
anxiety is in
Right. The word
Yeah.
anxiety. So
Yeah.
when you are free from anxiety,
there. Mhm.
work hard. And you are going
Mm.
to have difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also going to have ease.
Mm-hmm.
But after ease comes difficulty, like it's a circle, okay?
Yep.
So it's the cycles of life. You're gonna have some hard times, you're gonna have some better times, but just make Allah your exclusive object. He's gonna remove the burdens.
Yeah.
Just keep working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Work cheerfully, fear not. So the
Beautiful.
expansion,
Beautiful.
and we're always expanding,
Always
right?
That's right.
expansion.
And
That's right.
And then, hey,
Scientology,
yeah.
right?
And you do something well. Okay, time to work.
Time
Yeah.
to work,
Time to get going.
right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of work
right.
to do.
Yeah.
A lot
You
of
give a
people to
half
change.
act,
Yeah.
right? And keep it moving.
Yeah. Want
So-
something done, give it to a busy man or woman.
Okay, so that's how my life began. I'm like, why do I have to do all of this stuff? And the more responsible I became, the more I have to do.
That's right.
And I love doing it with my husband.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can you can you clarify or help me understand what is the relationship between, let's say, the Orthodox Islam and then Nation of Islam? Like what is the relationship? So the Quran has been used for a very, very long time. It's one of the oldest books that we know of
Mhm.
in humankind, as far as I know. What is the relationship there?
Well, Islam is Islam. It's the universal truth, the universal principles,
Mhm.
right? 5 guiding principles that no matter what type of Muslim you are going to live by those, right? And then culturally, that's what makes the difference, right?
Mhm.
Because you have the Islam in the East, and we are taught Islam in the West, right? And in the Nation of Islam, our founder, who, by the way, is half Black and half white,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he pulled us out to put us off, to teach us the knowledge of ourselves, because our history was wiped out. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know our language, our culture, our religion. We didn't have those things because of our sojourn here in the wilderness of North America, how we got here, right? How we was made into slaves and all of these things. So we was in servitude to others. So he pulled us aside and began to retrain us. You are not someone lesser.
Mhm.
You are a God.
Mhm.
You are a man. You are a woman, right? So he began to teach us the love for self. He began to teach us how to go back into the homes and all of the things that we learn. So what is the difference? It's culture.
Mm.
It's not the principles. It's the culture.
And that includes the names, right? So you take the
Mhm.
name and the history, as you've said, you've been given the names of the slave masters,
Right. So,
right? And so you guys did something about that.
absolutely. So he gave us back our righteous name. Originally, it was X because it was meant unknown.
Yeah.
We didn't know who we were. So you get
Mm.
X, it's unknown. You still, when you come into the nation, you go through a process, you get X because you don't know your tribe, where you come
Mm.
from,
Mm.
right? However, there was a lot of us that was given Muhammad. And, that's a history behind that. But Minister Farrakhan gave us Muhammad in 97, which means one worthy of praise, praise much.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got a righteous holy name. And usually the way that's given is through the Savior, Master Prophet Muhammad, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and now Minister Farrakhan gives you a righteous name.
That's great.
Yeah.
So back, it's the opposite of invalidation.
Yeah. That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Mhm.
I'm like sitting here having, this happens almost with anybody we talk to, but it's happening a lot today. I'm literally like realizing things as you're talking. I'm like, oh wow, I've heard this. Like that's, one thing that I realized as you were talking is so in Scientology, there's a principle about conflict,
Mhm.
and it's the third party principle.
Mhm.
And it's that the concept is, in order for a conflict to occur between two people, parties, nations, whatever,
Mhm.
religions,
Mhm.
there has to be a hidden, unknown third
Absolutely.
party that's basically giving false reports to each of the others, getting
Mhm.
them to be antagonistic to each other.
Mhm.
It occurred to me that there is, like if you just look at the news media, for example, it just occurred to me that there's probably been a good amount of third party between
Absolutely.
Christian people in America and Muslim people in America.
Mhm.
And really it goes for all faiths, but there's kind of actually just a third party between all of the different faiths that's just getting them all to be like at each other on social media and in all these different places, when in reality a lot of us kind of all believe the same. I'm working on, I'm not going to curse, the same
Mhm.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Like it's like
I love Minister Farrakhan because he says wherever truth is, that's where you belong. Truth
Mm.
is your birthright. What is
Ah,
truth? Right.
yeah.
What is truth? Truth is obedience to that which you believe is right. Right. What's true for you is true
Yeah.
for you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's helped me to identify the third parties, in my everyday life and not be so general and so broad. Yes, things did happen on a massive level. And I was more at the effect of what was happening every day
Mhm.
than the things that has happened on a massive level. Yes, I've experienced the encounters of what happened to us as a whole race.
Mhm.
I got it. And that's real. And to be able to come back into the knowledge of myself and, the knowledge of God and the knowledge of others, the knowledge of the enemy and all of that, but to actually know how to find that
Yeah.
in my everyday life, that's what helped me to flourish and prosper. That's where the transformation came in. This is where, I can help my family and help my friends and help my nation and help the people because it's the answer for everything. You could find
Mhm.
what the real deal is.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've learned is people don't care about how much you know. They want to know how much you care.
Yeah.
And if you
Mm.
can help people to get into a space where they can take care of themselves, my God, that's
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for the technology of Mr. Hubbard because he gets you to look for yourself. That's the reward.
That's
Mhm.
it.
I get to see it for myself. I love my teachers. My teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, wants me to take responsibility so that I can be a greater helper for him,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? Jesus says this, pick up your cross, deny yourself, and come follow me. Well, we have to pick up our own struggles. That's what the cross represents.
Mhm.
Deny the things that you would do that would keep you unethical, keep you, out of luck with God and, righteous ways and being a good person. Deny that. Come follow him. He was like a great example of what it looks like to be ethical.
Mhm.
That's the example of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, most people know. So yeah, I'm trying to follow Christ.
Yeah. I love it. So
Beautiful.
what is the, like, from where you are now, you know, here end of 2025, what's the future that you're looking, like, what are you looking to accomplish in the next 10, 15, 20, like decades long? What's like the real, like, top goal for you?
To see sane families
Yeah.
for generations.
Mm-hmm.
And my immediate goal is to get my own center where people can come in and it looks like our culture,
Yeah.
right? Because it starts with us, but it's not limited to us. But I would say every culture need a person that they can relate to.
That's right.
People can relate to me because I come from this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this life, you know, started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can speak the language. I understand our ruins.
Yeah.
And I can connect and I'm relatable. And everybody around me is the same. Right?
Yeah.
So I want a center where people can come in and get the best of both worlds. And we really make a change for the future generations. And it starts here in Florida, but it's in every state around the country that there's an ideal scene that we can get the tech and the teachings for the salvation of our people.
It's beautiful.
Amazing. Now, what do you see is the ruin, the thing that's really messing people up? You know, you mentioned it a few times, like the ruins of what is it that you're seeing right now when you meet people? You know, what is that the big problems right now?
The button right now is mental health. People are
Mm.
stuck.
Mm.
Like literally, if you just listen to the language of the people, they're talking from the past,
Mm-hmm.
what they used to do, what they did have. You know, they don't know how to solve problems in present time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I deal with that all the time. People are stuck in the trauma
Mm-hmm.
of what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I can relate to that, but there's a way out. There is a way out that's not social because there's a lot of social engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Social media makes life just looks fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you get in real communication with people,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have answers of the current problems that they're having in present times. They're still dealing with the problems of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Victimhood. A lot of people are at the effect of not just what they have going on, from my experience. What happened in their families? What happened with their mothers? What happened
Mhm.
with their fathers? What happened with so-and-so or the neighbor down the street?
Mm-hmm.
And it stopped them. I'm watching a lot of people be stuck.
Yeah.
And if they are moving ahead, they're bringing that past with them in present time and operating from that.
And at least from this is for all peoples, I think, here in the United States. What kind of role when people have this problem and they don't have maybe an answer to mental health, or the answer to mental health that they're given is primarily drugs in the
Absolutely.
form of drugs,
Yeah.
both
Absolutely.
prescription and not prescription drugs.
Mhm.
So what have you seen? Like, how many people are trying to go and find the solution there?
Mm.
I believe that people do want a solution. I believe that what I'm seeing is what's presented to the people when they're looking for a solution. People do want help,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but what's available, what is in plain sight that's workable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I believe our role is, our job is. Because in the Black community, and I'm sure this is all over the world, but specifically dealing with my culture, there's a lot of advocacy for mental health therapy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's becoming social. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to see my therapist, and you know, but we got valid therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
So what is being put for the people is what I see the problem is. We need more people activating valid therapy,
Mm-hmm.
workable therapy, because it's so commercialized.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Yes. Yeah.
the answers has to be in plain sight. We need a cadre of people
Mhm.
that's out here providing a workable technology, because people are now waking up. People do want help,
Yep.
but what type of help are they finding? And that is, I'd say the problem is it's not enough, or we need more. I would say we need more people that is actually bringing the true solution,
Mhm.
and that's Dianetics,
Mm-hmm.
hands
What-
down.
Yeah, agreed. What do you, because I'm assuming you run into this from time to time, or maybe often, people who, they know that they need help, like they have something mentally that they're not happy with,
Mhm.
and they're going to therapy, like some form of therapy, like some psych therapy.
Mhm.
What do you typically say to those people when they tell you, if they tell you like, oh, I see a therapist?
Mhm.
What do you typically say to them?
I mean, ultimately, I'm going to give them a book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just my thing.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
I just got to give it to you, I'll give it to you. But, you have to allow people to have their way.
Right.
Right. So I don't force it,
Yeah.
but I will offer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's all I can do. And to me, giving a book is like life-saving, because, there's a lot of therapy. This helps you to know why you need therapy.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, I have a story. One reason I think that the scourge of the earth, the demonic force, or the most demonic force today, is the industry of psychiatry.
Oh, certainly.
That is
Yeah.
literally Satan incarnate.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
pushing false solutions and actually killing people. And in fact, a very close friend of mine was put on electric shock, and 2 weeks later he shot himself.
Mhm.
He's gone.
Mhm.
One of my closest buddies. And this is what people are used to as a solution, right? Something that never works, something you try and you try. You
Mhm.
try the whatever it is. You did the Oxycontin, you did the
Mhm.
whatever, this pill, that pill, this drug, and people try it. And so they kind of feel that there is nothing that can be done because they tried.
Mhm.
They tried to get help, and that help failed them. Do you see that happening with your brothers and sisters?
Absolutely. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to get people to um, understand that help is available, because people see help as betrayal,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So they don't want to be betrayed, So this is where I get people to trust by my example,
Mm.
because sometimes it's not in the book. You got to be the book. Okay. You just got to be the
It's
book.
That's so true.
Right. You just
I'm gonna
got
start
to.
saying that.
Yes, you have to be the book.
Wow, that's
right.
so
I am
true.
Dianetics.
Yeah.
I tell you have to, in this world today, you got to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You have to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let people know, look, I done been there, done that, had that, this, and maybe my story, and I always lead with this, my story may not be like your story, but I need you to fill in the ...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell your story. It's the power of the story.
Yeah.
And people are looking for hope. Are we hope?
Mm-hmm.
People are looking darkness into light. Are we the light?
Mm-hmm.
We got to be the light. We're enlightened beings. But people got to know that you've been in the dark. And matter of fact, this Mary's, I'm still trying to find, flash a little light. I haven't arrived to perfection now, but I've come a long ways. I'm not where I used to be. And I'm not where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
However, I'm in a process. Let people see your process, and that the process is attainable.
Yeah.
It's not the end goal, it's the process that people have the most reward. The reward is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not afraid to talk about my journey with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this book right here has solved my mental health problems, because I have religion. Even in my religion, I was still stuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's just true, right? But because Minister Farrakhan gave us this technology, I have so much respect for Mr. Hubbard, because my God, this man put something together
Mm-hmm.
that helped me to pop out of my own mind. Now I can be a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
I could be your
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
You understand? And that took courage. People lack courage. It's a lot of fear out here. So they need to see courageous people
Mhm.
Yep.
that regardless to any race, class, creed, or color, I'm here for you. And we doing this. But I'm the book.
Mhm.
And that's just how I got to go. So
Be
that's
the
my slogan.
book.
Be
Oh.
the book.
That's gonna be my new catchphrase. I am the
And-
book.
I am the book.
And your life, I mean, look, you have 5 children.
Yes.
You've been married for how long now?
28 years.
28 years.
Yes.
Good job. Well done.
A beautiful family that has been repaired.
Yes.
Right?
Mm.
I
We
mean,
still
that
need
is
to work. No, we still working.
Still
on
work,
it.
it work. Because
Yes.
again, things change. You need
Yes.
you need tune-ups all the time.
All the
You
time.
need some
That's-
fix-ups. You
or
can't just get
change.
that done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so
That's a sign that something is being utilized, by the way. is You have to keep it
Yes.
repaired.
We have
Yeah.
to.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful for my children. You know, you was gonna ask a question.
no, please about your
Yeah, I was
organization.
gonna say my children, you know, all of them are involved in the tech.
Mm.
And yesterday it was so funny because we did a FaceTime with the whole family. I have a son in Canada and I have one in Miami. And you know, they kind of like spread out. The girls are here and the boys are gone.
Mhm.
My heart. But anyway, we did a FaceTime and they was all quoting all my quotes, you know, like they just giving me back all of the things that I've said to them
Oh,
that now they apply in life. When I thought, okay, they don't listen to me, you know,
Mhm.
all of these things, but to just hear the wisdom of these young adults and they know where to go and they know what to do if they fall into these traps, because it's not easy for our young people out here today either,
Mhm.
you know, and how to get themselves out. So yeah, I was super excited.
It's brilliant.
You're being the
Setting
book.
it, being the
Yeah,
book.
I'm the book.
Mhm.
So, and for in the church, I mean, you've been to many churches of Scientology, right? Here,
Mhm.
Tampa, Flag, a
Places.
lot of places
Yeah.
around the U.S. and I don't know
And
if
some
abroad,
international.
some international.
Mhm.
Has anybody at all, any Scientologist, any book, Mr. Hubbard, anyone, tried to convert you or leave your religion? being a
Oh
Muslim?
no. And I love that this is non-denominational
Mhm.
because I don't think I would have participated if I would have had to drop my headpiece
Yeah.
and do something different. So no, you know, I learned actually this in Scientology, and that's how to grant beingness,
Mm-hmm.
how to grant life and not, you know, enforce things on people. And no, the doors of the church has been open to all who comes, you know, so I go in the church wherever I go and it's assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
wa alaikum salam,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
which
yeah.
means peace be unto you. I'm greeted with peace by the people in the Church of Scientology.
Wow.
You know, I'm greeted in a way where they're trying to keep my cultures in, you
Mhm.
know, and it keeps me in check, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I
I feel at home when I go to the church.
Yeah.
I'm at church.
That's
Mhm.
amazing. Okay, so we ask everybody a question.
Mhm.
Okay. And I guess I don't know. I'm gonna ask it anyway. I was gonna change it
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
but I'll
yeah,
ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's fine.
So, in your own words, what is Scientology?
Scientology is the study of wisdom, just knowing how to know,
Mm-hmm.
just becoming a better you, a better being, and applying life to life. That's my own words.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
brilliant.
I want
And
to add a
go,
follow-on.
please.
Yeah, I want to add a follow-on. Just
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, do it.
Acknowledgement. So, in your own words, what is Islam?
Peace.
Mm.
It's universal peace. It's a way that we all can live. And together, you know, I have the study of wisdom, I have peace, and I have life. We're both.
Nice.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
How I want to. I guess I'm curious of your, like your team, your sisters, your group, right? As they're coming in, like what happens? Has there been like what kind of difference have you seen?
Yeah. So, I mean, I say point to tech
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of my people because keep in mind, there's a group think
Mhm.
about white people.
Mm-hmm.
because of our history,
Mhm.
because of what we've gone through, there's distrust
Mhm.
because of the history and
Mhm.
because of the experience here in America,
Mhm.
right? So the first thing is, I'm talking about my group in particular,
Mhm.
reminding them of the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he says the members of the Church of Scientology, for those who truly follow L. Ron Hubbard, is our brothers and sisters in faith.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. And that L. Ron Hubbard is his brother. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And that he is a man that we was destined to meet at the proper time. So let's keep Farrakhan out front
Mhm.
until we get you in that chair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we followed the leader. And however, we still got things that we have to deal with, that we have to go through, and we have to get cleaned up. And people are willing. The people that come to the church, they're willing, but there's fear there. There's mistrust there. There's distrust. There's a lot of things, and rightfully so, on
Mhm.
both parts,
Mhm.
right? So my job is, because I'm in both, and because I'm very high in Scientology, and
Mhm.
I'm very high in the Nation of Islam, my job is to keep ethics in on both sides
Mhm.
and bring both up, right? Protect. I have taken on the role and responsibility. I'm protecting both sides.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
100%.
And so for me, it's like, okay, we here and this is home. Come on, let me show y'all around and let me show you the customs of the Church of Scientology, and then the Church of Scientology, the customs of the Nation of Islam. And then we began to just come up together, and it's been a beautiful journey.
Amazing. By the way, I'm from Venezuela. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
Okay, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
This guy's white.
Yeah.
This guy's white as can be. So
Yes.
I'm just as white.
Uh,
And we family.
that's right. That's
And we're
right.
family.
That's right. And I want to say, Scientology is, at least from what I've seen, in Mexico, it's very big. Venezuela, all the Hispanic areas it's flourishing very big, right? It's not yes, the founder was white.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But-
want to.
yeah,
Yeah, I
go.
want to actually just point something out because, I like. So I grew up in like a suburban small town in like a little north here in Florida. Most of my friends are white growing up.
Mhm.
It is easier to talk to people who are not white,
Mhm.
Hispanic, Black, what have you,
Mhm.
about Asian also, especially about. It's easier to talk to them about Scientology than it is to talk to most white people about Scientology.
Mm.
And the reason I would ascribe that,
Yeah, you
to-
can say you're white.
the
You go
reason
ahead.
I would ascribe that to is because the kind of like mock up for white America for like what's wanted
Mhm.
is comfort.
Mm.
No discomfort. Like
Mhm.
discomfort is not wanted.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
anything that, when you do confront things like out ethics, your reactive mind, which has gone over in Dianetics, your the stuff that's there that you can handle with that. When you
Mhm.
confront it, there is a little bit of it's not pain per se, but there's definitely some discomfort that goes along with it.
Mhm.
So I would say that actually makes it harder to talk to that community about something, and change in general brings
Yes.
discomfort with
I
it.
think that's universal.
Yeah.
Everyone has some resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always
yeah.
resistance.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
universal.
Yeah.
And I want to say this too, about Mr. Hubbard. He wrote a letter, message to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
That man has affinity for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he gave a specific letter to let us know we belong. What a man.
That's
Yeah.
right. I'm gonna put it by the way. I'll put that on the notes in the show notes. Guys, read that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Read
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
I also have a Million Man March pledge in the show
Yes.
notes as well,
Yes.
so you guys can see. I mean, there's so much that so much change can happen. I think working together, it's such a beautiful thing. I think it's just amazing to just be together and just be like, hey, let's understand each other. Let's just talk, because what happens is when you fight, you don't actually see the other person. You're
Mhm.
fighting something in your own head.
That's
what
so
I
true.
see. If I find someone, I don't know that person. If you really understand someone, you don't need to be fighting,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? I don't know if you see that.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
I think everybody that's sane
Mm-hmm.
want peace on earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
right? To have some degree of sanity. And if we just find the common grounds,
Mhm.
the common truths, and we build and find out what we have more in common than not in common,
Mhm.
that's how we are going to make this planet a decent and better place to live. So we just have to find more like-minded people, more people that's willing to make a new civilization. You know, in the nation, we say the hereafter is now, right? In the church, we say the kingdom of God, as above, so below,
Yeah.
right, is here. So if we all find that level of commonality and we start to bring forth the solutions, which is tools. Mr. Hubbard has a lot of tools,
Mhm.
right? In the nation, we have a lot of tools. In other religions, they have a lot of tools. If they're effective, and I'm saying this, I like to chase sanity. If
Mhm.
we're going to
Yep.
get some sanity and some more sanity, then let's come together and build that fortress and just push the evil off the planet.
Let's do it.
That's the win. That's
Yeah.
the win-win for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if someone wants to start, they're like, okay, I want to chase out this evil. I like this. What is the first step that someone should take toward that step in sanity?
Take the free online courses.
Which one?
Yeah. What's your favorite one?
Oh gosh, what's my favorite one? The Cause of Suppression.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Put
Yeah.
that one in the show notes. Scientology.org/suppression.
Yes, take the Cause of Suppression.
So he knows all of
The
the
links.
the volunteer minister
Oh, okay.
courses. He knows the exact URL.
Oh, you know them.
He knows them by
Oh,
heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Because
that's
we
good.
usually ask people what's their favorite one,
Yeah.
and everybody has a different one. Like we've
Yes.
heard the learning one,
Yeah.
like he knows the exact
Yeah.
It's
the
not hard.
URL.
yes.
Not hard.
I love them all, by the way.
Yeah,
The
they're
Cause
all
of Suppression, it
Mhm.
wakes you up. It's like, what? Oh, so
Mhm.
these 12 characteristics are my haters? Oh, okay.
That's right. That's a great way to put it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, so any parting words you want to say?
Yes, please.
I would say what this show reminds me of is to whom much is given, much is required. And we've been given a lot of tools to help our people, all cultures.
Mhm.
And it's required for us to be activated. We got to be activated to bring sanity on the planet. So to whom much is given, much is required.
That's right, guys.
Agreed.
Which means subscribe, like, and share. Share her message right there. It takes you 2 seconds. You got an hour and something. You can share the message. That's required. All right. Thank you.
And don't do nothing.
And it's been an honor. I want to
been an
say
honor.
thank you
Thank you.
both for having me here to share space with you and really to just get a message out.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And why did you decide to go from public school to private school to Drake?